A small boy moved into a big new house with his parents. The house had a big front yard with a lot of trees. Many people from the neighborhood congratulated them and welcomed them to the new house. But many people also warned them that the first night they sleep there, something horrible will happen. They loved the house. It was big and beautiful, and after a few minutes, they were unpacking boxers in their new rooms. While the mom and dad were unpacking, the boy looked around. He didn't like this house. Every time he turned the corner, he heard chains dragging metal moans. And then he saw the old painting of the stairs where a girl was always standing in the same spot and never moving. This house might be haunted, he thought. When he heard his parents come to his room, he hides under his blanket until they asked him why he wasn't helping them unpack. When they came under the blanket, they were both shocked to see how pale he was. They told him to pull himself together, because if he wanted to live in this house, he had to get used to it. They left the room and closed the door behind them. After a few more hours, all the boxers were unpacked. The parents were sitting on the couch watching TV. The boy was playing with his toys in his room. Suddenly, while he was building a Lego castle, he heard a loud noise coming from the closet. He stopped what he was doing and listened carefully. There it goes again, he thought. He slowly walked towards the closet and stood in front of it. Then he took a deep breath and opened the door. He looked around. Nothing was in there except for the clothes he just hung up. He closed the door, but then he noticed something strange. In the dark corner of the closet, he could see a small red little light coming from somewhere. He walked over and saw a small hole in the wood paneling. He looked through the hole and couldn't believe what he was seeing. There was a long tunnel hidden behind the closet. He was so surprised to see this. He wanted to tell his parents, but he knew they wouldn't believe him. So he kept quiet. He decided to break the wall and look through the hole. It was a little difficult, but eventually he managed to break through. He put his head through the hole and then pushed his body through. He crawled forward. The red color became brighter and brighter. He looked around and saw a large open space in front of him. He couldn't believe what he was seeing. In front of him was a big world made out of Lego. There were castles, mountains, rivers, even a small village. And it seemed like he was the only person there. He stood up and walked towards the nearest castle. As he approached, he saw a wooden sign hanging from the top of the castle wall. It read, "Welcome to my castle. You are always welcome," he read. But when he looked closer, he saw that there were also some words written in red paint below. "If you enter without being invited, you will never leave alive," it read. The boy was shocked when he read this, but he still wanted to see what was inside the castle. So he walked over and opened the door. Suddenly, a loud noise echoed through the castle. The boy fell down on his knees. He looked around and saw a horde of demons sitting at a large table. They were eating people and laughing loudly. They stopped eating when they saw him. The boy screamed and ran away. He quickly ran through the castle and out the door. He could hear the demons yelling behind him. "Come back here, you delicious snack!" He ran and ran until he saw a river. He jumped into the water and started swimming across. When he looked back, he saw the demons jumping up and swimming towards him. He swam so fast he could. Finally, he made it to the other side and quickly climbed up the grassy hill. When he looked back, he saw the demons climbing out of the river. They were almost at the top of the hill. Then suddenly, a demonic Grim Reaper appeared in front of him. He was tall and scary. His face was pale and he had sharp teeth. He wore a black robe and carried a... The boy fell down on his knees in fear. "Why did you let me follow you?" the boy cried. The Grim Reaper looked at him for a moment. Then he spoke in a deep voice. "This is hell. You are not allowed in here. Your soul is too good and pure for you to be in hell." "What?" the boy asked. "Why can't I be in hell?" Grim Reaper shook his head. "It is forbidden for me to tell you that, but you must leave now." He waved his scythe. A portal opened behind him. The boy could see the fire and smoke coming out of it. The boy hesitated for a moment, but then he stood up and walked towards the portal. When he looked back, he saw the Grim Reaper smile. Then he disappeared. The boy stepped through the portal and was back in his bedroom. He looked around. Everything was normal. There was no sign of the portal or the Grim Reaper. He walked over to the closet and looked inside. It was empty. He felt bad that he didn't believe his parents. He walked out of his room and down the stairs. He found his parents in the kitchen. They were talking to each other. The boy told them he was sorry that he didn't believe them and that he loved the new house. They hugged him and told him it was all right. They knew he was just scared. Then they all sat down at the table. The boy told them about everything he experienced that night. They were shocked when they heard this. But then, his mom said, "I don't think we should believe every word this boy says. He's probably just making things up." His dad agreed. "Of course, he's making things up. No one would believe him anyway," his mom said. The boy felt bad. He thought his parents would be happy that he was safe, but they didn't seem to care. He stayed quiet. He didn't want to bother them. They all ate dinner together. After that, his parents went to their room. The boy cleaned the dishes and then went back to his room. He was too scared to sleep alone. He turned on his nightlight and got into bed. He closed his eyes, but he couldn't sleep. He kept thinking about the demons and the Grim Reaper. He sighed and laid back down. Maybe it was just a dream, he thought. He closed his eyes again, but then he heard a loud noise coming from the closet. He opened his eyes and looked around. There it goes again, he thought. He slowly walked towards the closet and stood in front of it. Then he took a deep breath and opened the door. This time, he wasn't scared. He was mad. Who was making those noises? Was it the demons again? He looked around. Nothing was in there except for his clothes. He closed the door and walked back to his bed. He was just imagining things, he thought. He got out of bed and walked over to the closet. He opened the door and looked inside. It was empty. He closed the door and started to search the room. He looked under the bed and behind the curtains. He even checked his closet again. He was just about to give up when he saw something strange. There was a small hole in the wall. He put his finger in it and poked around. It felt like there was something on the other side. He pushed the wall and it gave way. He was shocked. There was a small tunnel behind the wall. He looked around. No one was there. He was scared, but he was also curious. What was behind that tunnel? He walked through the hole and found himself in the same place as before. The boy was shocked. He had found the tunnel again. He walked over to the castle and knocked on the door. A demon opened the door and snarled at him. The boy screamed and ran away. He ran and ran until he saw the river.